Welcome to EVE Online, I'm Major Freak. This is about my clones, my ships, and my Astrahouses. I have 9 Astrahouses total. One is about 10 jumps away. These are just the local ones I have to switch out implants and keep things organized so I don't go mental trying to figure out, which ships I have, where I have them, related to what implants that give bonuses to the specific ship fitting, like active tanking or passive tanking or speed or probing or ECM, stuff like that, and mining, of course. But mining, my main implant that I usually truck around in is built for mining ore. And in the past, like a decade ago, I was like, oh, let's have lots of mining implants scattered all over the universe so I can jump and save myself time. But of course, back then we had the jump cooldown for jumping between NPC stations, and of course, NPC stations allow you to jump from any NPC station to another jump clone. In another NPC station, you'll get cooldown, but you could totally do it. No questions. Upwells are different. In order to jump from an upwell, you have to have an active clone service there, which is weird. The also weird thing is that's nice is that you can dock at an upwell with a active cloning service and jump into the clone at the station without incurring a jump cooldown, which is a game changer, which is absolutely awesome. Which means I can go around mining ore, and when I need to do, say, a fob bash, I can hop over to have them at Bashak or Claymore at the moment. I just switch my clone for the talisman, and then I jump into my Lashaks, which have the talisman helps for energy transfer and NOSs and neutralizers, but energy transfers. And then when I'm done 15 minutes or 20 minutes later, I can just come back and switch right away and go back to mining, which is a game changer. It really has opened up my cloning abilities, and I came back to the game September 2018. I lost a bunch of implants because it's kind of noobish at this whole upwell thing, and I had clones at upwells that got destroyed, or some idiot just offline the clone service, or I lost access to it or stuff like that. So I decided to get my own Astrahouses because Astrahouses give a bonus to production and fuel to cloning services. So in the long term, it is my old alliance leader said it's not going to be cost effective for the money you put in versus the savings. He just thinks clone services are silly, which granted he's probably right. He probably has only 1 or 2 clones sets, really. He probably flies around with amulets, the old slave implants, heavy on armor gear. Anyway, so I really wanted the security, and I needed the clone services anyways, so I was going to do it regardless. And plus, when you think about it, if you're going to have clone services, you don't want them on that. My old alliance leader said, don't have clone services except on something that you're actually using for other things too, that actually give you income, or some kind of other benefit than simply clones. But to me, my main focus is on having not only a clone service that I can depend on, but that it's going to look intimidating to high-sec war deckers, because low-hanging fruit theory. If your Astrahus looks dangerous, they'll just go pick an easier target, because why not, right? Why wouldn't they? It's just common sense. And I try not to bling out my Astrahouses. I knock over fobs. I get occasionally faction BPCs for the faction newts, and those have insane range and great. Oh yeah, they're just awesome. But I'm not going to plug them into my Astrahouses, because why would I want to advertise? Come gank me. I'm a blingy pinata for loot, you know. So cut that down. And in that vein, I try to cut my the cost of my Astrahouses balanced with looking intimidating, and they end up being about 3 billion. And most of the cost is in fighters, which I keep out of the fighter bay, and I keep the ammo out of the ammo bay, and I keep a DST worth of fuel in my Astrahouses at all times. Well, that's the ideal. I just haul, you know, and that gives me about 75 days of fuel. So it's not blingy. If I get attacked and I don't know it and I'm blindsided, I have the option, because when you're damaged, you can't swap out fighters that you need. And if you have them in corp hangar, you can plug stuff in. So that's my mentality. And I'm thinking about turning all my Astrahouses into what is effectively the fit that the high-sec war deckers use. They use 4 newts and 4 ECM, and it gives you about 15 minutes cap stability, but you know, damage cap, you're gonna RF or destroy the upwell in 50 minutes anyways, so you don't need more than that. So that's what I'm gonna do. I knock over fobs, so I get neutralizers, you know, a lot of the time when I knock over fob. So yeah, I'll totally do that. And the ECMs in the mids that can be doable, those are cheap, tech ones. And so that's what I'm planning. Right now, I'm going to do something really complicated. Anyways, yeah, I'll get to that in a bit. I'll make another video of that, because I'm sure to screw it up. This is my neighborhood. The reason we're here, my alliance is here, is because it's got some really good moons. It used to have some really good moons in Shuria, High, and there's some in Hala. Those are all 0.5 systems, of course, and they're pretty good. There's some in Narai, but not many, but mostly it was around here. And plus we're right next door to the Army constellation, which is the Milal loop of system stationless systems that are in a closed loop, and the entry is from Shuria. You also have Fenzi, which leads into low sec, the proper low sec of Genesis, eventually, from Narai. Beyond that, the only 2 high sec entrances to the area is through Mikur, or whatever, and Memem Kanar. I'd say Tasheaba, but it's not really a choke point. I prefer Mamenkar because it's only got 1 entry, 1 gate I'm looking at, which is Tasheaba. So if I'm in Mamenkar, I've only got 1 jump gate monitoring, and Mikur is it's got 2, sorry, it's got 2, so my choke point is Bashakru. So if I've got an upwell looking over the Stargate of Mikur, it's the 1 entrance into that area, the Mobit constellation, and the Mulata constellation has 1 high sec entrances, which I can guard by, well, monitor by having an Astra on the Tashabia gate, and I've called it Katana, and I've called the Bashakru Mikur monitor gate upwell cutlass, kind of like curved swords, you know, boarding action kind of thing. But of course, we call Katana boarding action. But that's what I name it. My focus has just been on getting my implants. So I've got my Claymore is my talisman. Herrera was my miscellaneous spot where I had various stuff in there. Saraday was my amulet, my steel slave, because it's right next to Nazil where I have my capitals. So obviously that's why I keep my amulets. Morning Star is overlooking the gate into the army constellation, the Malalu, and it's got my ice implants. I branched out and turned the ice implant into a semi-ice implant, but with long-range missile capability for Cerberuses. I can reach out to 300 clicks plus for that. Oh, that's another video, of course, very soon. Warhammer is my, I decided, it took me a while, but Warhammer is my crystal implants, the active tanking for shield, and Bardiche is my active tanking for armor. So Cutlass I turned into my Halo implant set for my bombers, my stealth bombers. Makes an Astrahus take at least a minute to target, which is, you know, good enough for firing 4 or 5 volleys. And well, you have to be careful too, because you can click on a bomber and order your fighters to orbit, and they'll come real close, so worry about uncloaking. But at 5 clicks, I haven't really tested that yet, but that's for another video. I got a long to-do list of stuff to test. And then Katana, I planned on making it maybe Nirvana, but then I realized I don't really use Nirvana. I'm not really a good, I'm not really into passive shield tanking. I've always hated Kaldari, so yeah. But then I realized, wait, now that I have all these, like an absurd amount of Astrahouses with clone bays, I was like, wait a minute, and this is what the next video will be dealing with, the complicated thing. I can now start thinking of strategically placing my implant sets, whereas before it was just essential that I just have another set now, and wasn't really thinking about location. And now I'm thinking, wait, I have, if a high-sec war deck corp decides to go to war with my alliance for if they consider, you know, if they can war deck, they can have 8 loot pinatas, you know, that might be attractive. So I'm like, if that happens, why don't I start thinking strategically? Because I'm assuming a high-deck war deck corp is not going to pay attention to my videos. Who would, right? So, and you know, within a month I'll have this'll be buried, you know, so I doubt they're following me. Anyway, so I was thinking, if a high sec war deck corp for bashing upwells targets me for my Astras, they will most likely hit the first Astra they see, right? So I have them on the gates. When you jump into Bashakru from Mikur, you've got orbit camera on, I've got it set so you could see my upwell right away. It's kind of cool aesthetically, but otherwise, I mean, it does have my upwell front and center in your viewpoint every time you jump into our area. I wouldn't call it ours because, you know, you can control an area, right? So they would be the first hit, right? Mammon Kanar and Bashakru Cutlass, right? So I was like, if I get war decked and I want to shuffle my clones into NPC stations for safety, I have to wait like 20 hours or 16 hours or something like that. I forget the last time I looked. But that's, you know, almost, that's a day, right? And we got work and stuff, so yeah, that's a day of doing that each for each one. So I'm like, why don't I put the cheapest into cutlass and katana, which I haven't yet. Well, I've got a halo in cutlass, all my halos and cutlass, and those are dirt cheap. And I was thinking, wait, why don't I put my ECM into, I was thinking cutlass, but the halos are dirt cheap too. So I'm like, why don't I put, I'm thinking right now, going through the thinking, why don't I put all my ECM in katana? You know? So have the two cheapest implant sets put into the ones that theoretically would be hit first. So that's, you know, bit of thinking, you know. So that would give me time, if I get war decked, I can go, okay, I need my most expensive set into safety right now, and then a day later I can put in another. The most expensive probably would be the amulets at Ceride, and the next would probably be the Morning Star. And I put the Morning Star in the civil. Ceride doesn't have any NPC stations in the system itself, but I have my capitals in Nazil, so I just plug them in Nazil. And then the Morning Star doesn't have any nearby stations, but I just plug them into the civil station. It's a nice, you know, you launch from the top, out from the top, upwards. Those are nice, nice Dockring stations. And then the Warhammer and the Bardiche would be next. The Talisman might be as well. I'd have to check it, but yeah, you could go from there. It would go Ceride, then Morning Star. Then after that, it would probably be. I've got 3 stations, 3 implant sets: Warhammer, Bardiche, and probably Claymore, right? And I go, okay, I need to figure out, because they'll probably want to hit all of them anyways and reinforce them all. So you'd have until you get on the first day of war, you'd get Morning Star. You've already gotten Cerides out. You get Morning Star, and then you'd be able to get one more choice. You'd get, so they'd RF it. You just moved Morning Star. They'd RF them all. Just talking theoretical, and that would be shield timer, right? So you'd have, let's see, do that. You just move Morning Star. They were RF'd everything. You'd get one more chance to move one of your guys, and that would probably be one of the 3.